Good evening, I'm Tamika Alexander. Thanks for joining us. From Louisiana to Florida, people all along the Gulf Coast are preparing for Tropical Storm Isaac. It's expected to make landfall as a hurricane late Tuesday or early Wednesday. Here in Alabama, Governor Robert Bentley said people do not need to become complacent as Isaac approaches the Gulf Coast. Bentley declared a state of emergency to make sure people had time to get out. He also ordered a mandatory evacuation of low-lying areas in Mobile and Baldwin counties last night. Bentley said the National Guard is on standby. The governor says he and emergency officials are doing what they can to help keep everyone safe.
We always have to remember that what we're trying to do is protect the lives of the people of this area. Everything else is secondary, but the lives and the safety of the people of this area are most important.
Tropical Storm Isaac is following a similar path to Katrina's in 2005. A landfall on Wednesday would coincide with the 7th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. And now to the latest on Isaac, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott. Richard, what can you tell us about this weather? I know we're expecting a lot of rain, but what else can you tell us?
Yeah, Tamika, several things. Number one, a lot of rain out there. Also the threat for tornadoes across the area, especially tomorrow night, as well as on Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, Isaac kind of having a hard time out there. It's battling some dry air that's kind of got wrapped into the center there. You notice on the radar image there, not too much rain developing on the north side of that. Of course, it is a long way from the radar site, so you're going to have a hard time seeing the precipitation out there. But yeah, there's that void of precipitation right around the center there, at least on the north side, but I think that does change sometime later tonight and during the day tomorrow, so strengthening is likely. Now, here's the very latest from the National Hurricane Center in just a couple of minutes ago. Wind sustained at 70, pressure down to 979 millibars, which is very low for a tropical storm. It's going to continue tracking off towards the northwest, make landfall Tuesday night, somewhere close to the mouth of the Mississippi. And then track along the Mississippi River northward into western or eastern Arkansas, rather, as we go into the day on Thursday and Friday. We'll have much more on Isaac, plus the latest impacts possible around here. Your forecast is coming up.
Thanks, Richard. The University of Alabama is preparing students and staff for the possible threat of severe weather. Today, the university sent an email to employees and students warning of the potential for inclement weather. The email includes safety tips and procedures should Tuscaloosa experience severe weather. The university is not currently planning to cancel any classes due to the storm. Well, emergency responders across West Alabama have been busy getting ready to face the possible effects of Tropical Storm Isaac. According to Holly Maxwell with the American Red Cross, they began organizing volunteers as early as last week. Maxwell says 27 emergency response vehicles are en route to Montgomery, stocked with food, water, and cleanup kits. According to Maxwell, the Red Cross of West Alabama is preparing to open a shelter right here in Tuscaloosa for evacuees, but may open additional shelters if necessary.
Of course, we do know, even though we may not be directly impacted by the eye of the hurricane, should it become a hurricane, we still could potentially experience those heavy storms, spin-off tornadoes.
To stay up to date and prepared for the storm, you can find a link to the American Red Cross Hurricane app for your smartphone on our website, www.wvuatv.com. Click numbers and links. Well, Amtrak is temporarily suspending its service to and from New Orleans Tuesday and Wednesday due to Isaac. According to officials, no alternate transportation will be available to and from New Orleans. Passengers who have paid but chose not to travel due to the weather can receive a refund or voucher. For more information, call 1-800-USA-RAIL. Well, the much-awaited Alabama Crimson Tide season opener is just a few days away. For those of you traveling to Dallas, you may be wondering what to expect along the way and if you'll run into any bad weather due to Tropical Storm Isaac. WVUA's Courtney Highfield talked to officials in some of the major cities you'll be traveling through who offered some tips.
While the Alabama Crimson Tide is preparing for the season opener against the Michigan Wolverines, many in Tuscaloosa are preparing to drive to Dallas to watch the game. And with the threat of severe weather along the way, you may be wondering what to expect. The first major city along the way is Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson proper has about 48 hotels. About half those hotels right now are booked just because at this point now we've got people coming up from the coast because of evacuations in the Gulf area of Mississippi. Call first. Absolutely make a reservation. Better be safe than sorry.
After you pass through Jackson, another major city you'll be driving through is Shreveport, Louisiana.
Concerned about the weather. We are staying on top of it through our local FEMA group as well as the Red Cross. We got some optimistic news earlier today. Again, there's always a chance that news could change, but at this point, from the Shreveport-Bossier area, since we're in the northwest corner of Louisiana, at best we'll get a heavy rain on Thursday afternoon to Thursday evening.
As officials said, you may experience bad weather along the way, but according to Decima Cooper with Arlington Experience, once you get to Dallas, you're in the clear.
We're not expecting Isaac to hit Arlington at all, maybe a few raindrops here and there, but our weathermen have been saying it definitely will not be anything major.
But as we all know, the weather could change, so it's best to stay informed and prepared regardless.
If you're going somewhere, give yourself plenty of time. A ball game isn't worth losing your life over.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Courtney Highfield, WVUA News.
Now, if bad weather approaches on your drive, officials advise you to make sure you have a full tank of gas, blankets, extra food, and a fully charged cell phone. Turning now to tonight's Education Watch, the Tuscaloosa County School Board is now set to hire a full-time career tech coordinator. The board approved a job description today for the position. So what does the school system hope to do with the career tech program with this new potential hire? WVUA's Travis Leader has more.
So what exactly is career technical education?
There's many areas in terms of the typical ones you think about, from carpentry to electrical, the mechatronics type program with Mercedes-Benz. You've got areas in agri-science, family and consumer sciences, JROTC are good programs that they have in many of the high schools. A lot of options out there for students.
The Tuscaloosa County School Board is taking steps to place a stronger emphasis on this type of vocational training.
This has been a high priority of the board, and we're finally getting to the position where we can increase and have a person full-time to help us in that role.
Interim Superintendent Dan Butler says local businesses want to recruit students from the school system, so he feels it's necessary to take steps to help provide the students the skills needed for some of West Alabama's largest employers.
We plan to take a look at what we're doing, what they want us to do, whether additional resources are required in order to do that.
Butler says improving career tech will help guide those students who either can't afford college or simply don't see college as the next step in their futures.
They don't know what's out there, and that's our job now, is to let them know what's out there, to educate them. And yes, I think we'll have some very good students choose to train for industry.
In Tuscaloosa County, Travis Leader, WVUA News.
Butler says at one time some people could enter these occupations with little to no training, but now local industry is looking for more experienced people out of high school, which is one of the reasons the school system is trying to help meet the labor standards. Well, in other Tuscaloosa County Schools news, according to Interim Superintendent Dan Butler, 13 students elected to leave Holt High School for either Northside or Brookwood High Schools. The students were provided this opportunity because of Holt High School's repeated failure to meet adequate yearly progress through the No Child Left Behind program. 3 students elected to go to Northside while the other 10 decided to attend Brookwood High School. The federal government is funding the school's transportation services for these students. Butler says so far 2 of the students have already decided to return to Holt High School. Well, Shelton State Community College began fall classes today. Students and faculty returned for the first time since fall break. School officials decided to wait until this week in case students at the University of Alabama wanted to pick up additional classes. The fall semester runs through the beginning of December. Well, tomorrow is Election Day for several communities across West Alabama. Some of the Northport mayoral candidates answer questions from voters at the final forum before tomorrow's election. Incumbent Bobby Herndon, along with challengers Robert Thomas and Frank Chandler, took part in the Christ Baptist Church Community Mayoral Forum. Former mayor and current candidate Harvey Fretwell was not in attendance. The candidates took questions on a variety of issues from participants in the audience. Polls open bright and early tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. Well, the University of Alabama's fall semester is underway, and what better way to celebrate than with a party? Now, Friday night, artists such as Nelly and several others took to the stage on the University of Alabama campus and kicked off the school year as students helped raise money for a good cause. Now, WVUA's Molly Mitchell, who's a student from Huntsville, has more in this week's Capstone Correspondent Report.
Hi, I'm Capstone correspondent Molly Mitchell, a senior majoring in broadcast news. More than 10,000 students came out to party for a purpose at the 5th annual Greek Fest.
I think everybody feels really good coming out, buying tickets for the event, and being able to give back to the community.
And give back they did, raising over $60,000. The event is nonprofit and the total raised will be split evenly to benefit both the Greek Relief Fund and the Billfish Foundation. Greek Fest is only held at the University of Alabama, and due to the overwhelming success, Costas now sponsors the event. The concert welcomes all students, Greek and independent. To purchase a ticket, all you need is a University of Alabama student ID. Greek Fest only hopes to grow larger, and the mission is simple.
We're just trying to show the strong presence of the community that the University of Alabama really has. We can show that we'll all come together and donate money to a good cause, and that we can have a good time doing it.
If you would like to see the University of Alabama through the eyes of a student, go to WVUATV.com. I'm Capstone correspondent Molly Mitchell for WVUA News.
When WVUA News at 10 returns, the Republican National Convention kicks off today in Tampa. We will take you there. And it's finally game week for the Crimson Tide. Yuri Harris will have details in Alabama's home team sports.